This environmental storytelling.
This is the experience that you just walked through.
Alright, up here?
Yep.
Welcome back, everybody.
And
Look who we found.
another elevator.
Yeah.
What does this say here?
And hopefully the stream actually is running all right today, because
So Referral are the game that runs the checklist.
we had to get a different hotspot for this last little bit.
My first time here in Pyro for any longer. We're going to throw it to the first of our two-part environmental presentations, starting with Living on the Edge. So take it away, everybody, and I don't know, watch it. It's good.
My name is Colin Chuckett. I'm the lead level designer for the PU. I will give you an introduction to our locations when it comes to the design, a high-level overview of the design of our locations. I'm going to describe you the processes of our workflow and the goals that we aim to reach.
Some maple bar.
So,
maple bar?
To break down our process a bit,
Delicious.
this is very high level, but it starts out with a pre-production phase, an ideation phase. Here everything starts out in the mind. We bring it down to paper, sketch, write, formulate a plan based on our overall design goals. And then it moves on to the blocking stage. You might have heard of this, like the white box and gray box phase. This essentially contains all of the gameplay that you would see in the final product. Basically, the way it's meant to be played, and we test this out with a lot of iteration and yeah, a lot of testing. And it's basically, the white box is not in a stage where it's presentable, but that comes now. So on the right, as you see, the food court that Adam is going to be showing you later. Yeah, this is the final product, VFX, lighting, and everybody had their pass on this. And level design or other designers still maintains the space to make sure.
Start by drawing a circle,
that,
then draw the rest of the drawing.
That get created
It's just me, or does that sign say peanuts?
All right, so one key aspect of game development in general is the balance of narrative, visuals, and gameplay. So all these interplay, they interconnect, and it's the foundation that runs through all game environments.
The hot planet.
Pyro 2.
So it's important to communicate context.
It's the radiation.
And here in this draw over, you see that
I think.
Narratively, we see sort of a dangerous environment, the spiky shapes here
I could be wrong.
are sort of threatening. We see defensive structures, we can expect some enemy NPCs here, but it's also an old village. Maybe there's some exploration, some loot to be found. And then what's also important is communicating goals. So goals can be the pathways that you take, the gateways that bring you from one step to another, and so on. Oops. Yep. Okay, since we're a sandbox game, accommodating playstyles is pretty important. So playstyles meaning going guns and blazing, shooting at everything and everybody, going more of a stealthy, infiltration pathway if you wanted to, but also all the social aspects that you know from standard. And to do this, we
Breaking everything and going to jail.
So one of the core design philosophies is granting the player the freedom of choice to do what they want to do at any point throughout their experience. And we do this by establishing or defining multiple pathways or archetypes that we call primary, secondary, and tertiary pathways. So the first one is pretty straightforward. In a social setting, you have the goal right in front of you, and it's a single goal, such as here in the Habs. In a combat setting, this is very exposed, so it's dangerous to traverse this route. Where it gets more complex is when you have, such as with this outpost here, when you have multiple goals that can be equally important to the player at any given point.
I like how there's just like a scribbled.
This is where we need to have a bit more design put into it with, for example, the landmarks that serve as orientation points. So to help you orient yourself wherever you are in this location, and leading you to these locations by utilizing shape language and composition. The second path, these are secondary pathways, so these are alternative routes, and these are options that are offered to you as you traverse the area, or the primary path, for example. And so you may know this as a tourist when you go to a new city and you look around the corner and you see an alleyway that sort of looks nice, and it evokes your curiosity and you want to investigate. In a combat setting, these are covered approaches or opportunities for you to flank the enemy to get to your goal, which could be this building. Yeah. Versus more open spaces, when you have, in a combat setting, on open spaces, you tend to be a bit more stationary because you want to feel more secure, unless you're in a vehicle. The third path is tertiary pathing. So these are more hidden infiltration routes, especially discoverable throughout the rundown stations that Anna will be presenting later on. And these are mostly discoverable to the attentive eye. You can explore these, find loot, or different routes to traverse through the station. Environment interactivity. You might have seen this in the previous presentation. It's very important to ground the player to their environment, offering them ways of interaction, being able to change the state of rooms, to toy with the AI, or just simply being able to unblock your pathway. Where it gets a bit more complex is when you talk about resource network systems, such as in day one when Torsten mentioned that we're planning to implement this as well in locations. And this will allow the player to engage with their environment in different ways. They will be able to power up or down entities such as turrets, gates, and doors, and also alter life support systems. And also, this ties into security systems. So, being able to power up or down certain segments of a security system. And security systems in turn will be dependent on security tokens that you will be able to grab from other NPCs in your environment to then gain access to other terminals, to security terminals or other areas. Reputation is a big topic for us, especially with Pyro. So reputation, what does it mean? It means that it's basically your standing, your relationship with factions, and factions are the UEE and Stanton, or outlaw gangs, especially now in Pyro. And this will define your play style in this environment. So it will define how you experience the location that you're in a more social context or a more combative context. So we talked about reputation gates as well, especially in the later presentations. So in the case of the food court, in the rundown station, we have multiple floors. So the first floor is the gang floor, and that might require you to have a better relationship with the owner of this location, which then will give you unique mission givers that you can go to and accept a mission that are offering you missions themed after the faction or the owner of this location, but also give you access to unique gear, collectibles, ship weapons, and items. You might have seen these locations in the demo. So to close this all off and move on to the other presentations, the glue behind all of our locations is the content. It is the reason why you go to these locations in the first place, and our main goal right now is to not have that divide between social and gameplay as much as we do in Stanton, but mix it up a little and make that dependent on the reputation that you have with the factions and the owners of these locations. And yeah, we're looking into more content. As you see listed there, there's a bunch of new stuff coming as well. With the later presentations, for example, with the logistics hubs, the second portion, we're also looking into rates. But yeah, that's it for me. I will pass it over to Eddie now.
It's just a truck with
thrusters.
Yeah. No change at all. Yeah. Still has wheels. That'd be cool.
I'm
Maybe
Eddie,
like a
I'm
hover
Assistant
truck.
Art Director on Star Citizen for
That'd be
locations. Before we start, I'd like to mention that all of the footage we're about to see comes from our current stable builds. So all of that beautiful tech, all of those features that we've seen in the last 2 days, is coming from our tech development builds. Now, all those features are going to make their way to you, of course, eventually. But that is the reason you're not going to see some of them in the builds today. Just wanted to get ahead of the comments a little bit there. So with that said, what am I going to be talking about? Well, I'm really excited to show you that the hard work that the Sandbox One team have been doing to expand at new outpost locations. I'm going to start by going over how we've expanded the library and what that means we can now achieve with the new locations, and then how we achieve that variety from the library by categorizing our locations into both archetypes and themes, and what that means for you as a player. So, I don't know if you remember this, but at CitizenCon in 2021, we showed this new style of outpost for the first time. Now, at this point, we had our art style locked in. We'd worked on our library of content to the point where we could make smaller locations like this one, but with a limited amount of variety between each one. And this is what that library of modules looked like at that point. We'd established our main building modules as well as some of our larger buildings and a number of smaller secondary and dressing and standalone modules. But each outpost couldn't be too large without there being some obvious repetition between the modules used. So let's have a look at that library today. So, in order to achieve that greater visual and design delta between each outpost and have them not feel like exact clones of one another, we've massively expanded our module library in terms of breadth and depth. And what do I mean that? We go broad by making more modules with different purposes, and we go deep by creating multiple thematic overlays for each of those modules as well. I'll go into what that means a little bit in a minute, but the challenge of a sandbox location like this, as you can see, it's not about building a single unique location. That can be quite straightforward, to be fair. It's about giving our artists and designers the building blocks, the affordance to build multiple locations that all feel somewhat different, even if they do share that same basic DNA. So it's about creating both the ingredients at the same time as the recipes, and making sure all those flavors work in harmony with one another for both visuals and gameplay. So every individual part has to take into consideration all of those design philosophies. So every single module has to take into consideration those design philosophies that Carl mentioned. But we also have to make sure that they work with those same principles when an artist or designer combines them into any one of a number of different layouts. So the more ingredients we have to work with, the more recipes we can create. But with that complexity comes the challenge of keeping everything harmonious. So we like to think we've done a pretty good job with that. But that's me. Using this expanded library, we've been able to increase the individual location size because there's less of that obvious repetition between buildings within any single location. And we can't really call some of these large locations outposts anymore. They become something more like settlements and imply a larger and more established community. Now, as a player, it will mean a lot more to explore and do at any single individual location with a localized and personal feeling mission types that might see you moving around a single settlement to complete objectives, or doing short hop missions between clusters of settlements on a single planet. So you might head up to a ridge to repair some wind turbines, you could counter an outlaw attack from a neighboring outpost, or on the opposite side you might be stealing or destroying vehicles for the criminal gang that you're working for. But in the art department we always say show don't tell, so let's stop looking at slides, let's have a look at some of the locations in game.
So cool. That's Pyro 3, I think. Yeah, with the yellow and black. Ooh. That's beautiful. Oh, that's a herald there. So pretty.
It's really red.
Wow.
The
with like the white wood.
Flavors of Outpost did you just see there? Well, we categorize them in two different ways, as I said, and then we mix and match those categories together to provide that variation. Now, the first and primary category is the archetype, and they provide that core gameplay hook and define the main function of a settlement. So scrapyards have a landing pit module for repairs and refueling. Mining operations can have a refinery module and ore extractors for resource and commodity trading. And trading posts themselves allow a broader range of item purchases through the dedicated trade building module. And I mentioned earlier some more like general mission types that you might find that would be agnostic of archetype, and the archetypes themselves reflect that primary gameplay function of a settlement, but there's also a middle layer. Of course, we don't want these locations to just be a glorified shop or repair station. So there's to be more secondary activities to do locally to an outpost that are also defined by its archetype. So you may find scrapyards can offer salvage-related gameplay and missions. Trading posts can also offer delivery missions or hauling and cargo gameplay. And farms can offer crops and fauna as resources for gathering or trading. So with archetypes as our primary category, in addition, we mix in a secondary category, and these are the thematic overlays. Now, at the moment, we have two main themes. Internally, we call these independent and outlaw. So, themes offer additional variation on top of the archetypes to inform the look and feel of a location. Not just visually, but which people you'll interact with there, how they'll respond to you based on your rep, what types of missions you'll have available to take on. So themes don't change the fundamental architecture of a space or the archetype of a location, but they do drastically alter the mood and feel, as well as altering the gameplay experience significantly. And again, let's take a look at the first of our themes, our independent theme.
That's a big gun. Was that a ship weapon?
So, as a neutral player, the independent theme presents a much more social gameplay experience. The primary visual read across both themes, so across both Outlaw and Independent, comes from those common architectural forms, and they're generally all more rounded and soft in shape, and the building manufacture techniques are more robust and primitive, with single-story dwellings built from stucco and bare metal. But for this theme specifically, we use soft textiles, warm lighting and color palettes, foliage, decoration that layer on top of those utilitarian structures to give that sense of home. And I use the word home for our independent theme quite a lot because we really want to get that feeling that this is home.
Pioneer?
Pioneer? Despite those harsh realities of frontier life.
Ain't no way.
In contrast to that, we have a theme that lies in
Pioneer straight to playable.
Oh. Called the Outlaw theme. So let's take a look at that now as well.
I do want some more damn thousand chips.
Yeah, we could use some more. stage. That's a big ass turret. Okay.
Tells that story of these once functional settlements being completely overrun by the various criminal elements that inhabit the system. And visually we have themes of a regressed and subverted civilization. So we layer on top of the architecture these spiked and aggressive forms, and we have evidence of a squalid living arrangements and lighting from fires or poorly maintained fixtures. Some spaces are going to be recognizable as deformed versions of the independent theme, but some have been completely changed to more nefarious purposes. And while both themes employ all of the various alternative pathing and traversal considerations that Khan detailed just earlier, the outlaw spaces are weighted more towards combat. But just because these spaces are more dangerous and the experience can be more combative, that doesn't mean that the archetype of the outpost is lost. So if you as a player choose to be a criminal working up your rep with a head-up to gang, you'd be welcome at the trading post and you'd be able to buy and sell items or take on missions. But you probably won't then be very welcome at the independent teams and locations, and that's where you get your combat experiences. So while the outlaw theme looks very different, the functionality of those archetypes still remain. So I've talked about the kinds of outposts we've been hard at work on, and I hope you've enjoyed checking them out over the last 2 days.
It'll be cool when the reputation system is actually functioning and you actually get like...
Thank you for that. But where are we heading from here?
Like the
games should be obvious that we're going to get these out for the first Pyro release. We still have some final optimization and polish classes to do across the whole library. And then we're also going to be expanding the amount of these locations throughout
not instant and
our tools allow us to do that.
In Pyro there are.
So we've got the library as well to do it.
5 different factions.
And the new outposts are not limited to the Pyro system. They're completely system agnostic, so you can expect to see these outposts in other systems as well. And of course, we're going to look to add more ingredients, more of those modules to the library as well, to further expand the variety and depth you'll be able to see at these new locations. We want to encourage more on-foot gameplay within a small ecosystem of a planet to give that more localized and personal feeling experience. Our goal with these locations, as with many of the others we're going to hear about today, is to continue to work on the gameplay so that every location offers a rich playground to explore. And I guess I'd like to finish just by thanking everyone for listening today. It's really great to see you all.
Thank you. Just give us Pyro, come on guys.
Alright guys, my name is Nicolas Pinchot, I'm from Montreal. I'm assistant art director, and I'm here today to show you the next new galaxy settlement we did. But just before that, I just want to say thank you to everyone who worked on that mandate. You guys did awesome work. I'm super happy and proud to be here today to show you that all of you guys at the world. So let's go to the chase and let me present you the new galaxy settlement.
Did you say this was a derelict? I don't know what you mean. Ooh. That's gotta be somewhere on Microtech. It's gotta be. Really cool. Oh yeah, there is a derelict ship there. Look. Oh. What is that? That looks awesome. Oh, I want to go there. It's huge too.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Oh, that's so cool.
Finally doing something with the ocean, so I'm glad for that.
Yeah. Any more? Oh, that's really neat. I like the green. I like the greenhouses there.
Yeah. It's not like hardcore or Crusader can have their ones.
Ooh, Crusader. Derelict on Crusader would be neat.
It'd be hard.
Yeah. I want more stuff on hardcore.
It's the same thing. It's just like,
Yeah.
what can you do with it being a city?
Oh, by the way, we
I
made
don't
more
know.
than 4, it's not just 4.
They have to work on another kind of.
So we split those settlements into
Yeah.
categories, social and hostile. In the social one, we will have drop-off mission, shops, food, loots, and drinks. And hostile one, obviously, would be more focused combat. Let me show you what it looks like.
A bar in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. Is this one of the social ones?
That's what you say. The other one's more dramatic.
Yeah.
There's like an NPC shit. Oh, there was something else in NPC shit that he talked about.
Oh, okay.
This one might be more dramatic. With all the fire and stuff, it's like, it feels like it.
Yeah.
And the background.
Oh yeah, he's like stealing a package from it or something. That's what it looks like. More missions to do. Ooh, shops? A little teeny tiny derelict bar? That's cool. These will be really, really neat places to just go and like hang out in games. I saw the new clock physics. At least I thought.
Maybe that's part of his favorite build.
It could be. Oh yeah. Probably to improve FPS for the sake of the demo.
Where's my thing?
Whoa, what was that?
Good one. Good one, kid. I want to talk about the clouds.
I like the end. The end's awesome. All right, in summary, guys, we're going to have a lot of new location planets, links with nice mission and good gameplay. And the most important, all those locations will be in Q4 this year, available in the game.
Whoa! Nice!
I want to go to
All right, guys, so we're done.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. I
All
will
of them are
let
going
now
to be
Adam
Q4 this year, so
show you more good
3.22.
stuff.
Who says shops to visit that aren't attached to stations or cities very neat. Yeah, that'll be cool. It'd be nice if they sell like unique items that you can only get there.
Hi. So, welcome to Rust Stations. I'm Adam Sanders, lead environment artist for EU World 1. We're excited today to show you our efforts for the Pyro rest stop stations. So, what are Pyro rest stop stations? Well, these are stations reinvented. These have new themes, archetypes, and gameplay to support new and interesting experiences. Aside from the social aspects, there is gameplay and exploration on the location. I hope you had a chance to play the demo over the past couple of days. I know I've spoken to a few of you. It's pretty good, right? It's a sneak peek of our current progress. Let's kick off with an overview of the Pyro system. For the Pyro system release, we plan on 6 planets and 26 stations, including jump point stations that connect to the standard and future systems such as Magnus. Rest stop stations are either in rundown or abandoned states. Citizens of Pyro, the rough and ready outlaws, and Xeno Threat may patrol these. Our focus today on the rough and ready owned Pyrotech Amalgamated Fuel and Resource Station, Planet 2, Lagrange Point 4, otherwise known as Checkmate Station.
You said some of them are abandoned.
That would be cool. Kind of like Gundo.
A lot like Ruin Station.
Yeah. Stations in Pyro are massive.
I'm excited for what the design like when the Nix is going to look like.
Oh yeah.
It's something
That'll be
outlaw as well, isn't it? With like lesbian and stuff.
I'm not sure, actually. He was fighting an Intrus and got hit by a soldier flare, and the Intrus and him were both like.
Your whole screen just goes I know that.
So to create a richer experience from rundown stations, we have 3 key points. So increased regulation, new areas, new gear, and mission givers.
Oh.
This also relates to basic functions such as the hub clinics, which need at least a neutral standing with the Romans. Combat can take place anywhere, including social areas. Numerous options for environment traversal and enhanced environmental interactions. We aim to include new substation areas such as the workers area, lower
Combat
deck,
inside the
and maintenance
stations.
areas.
They're big enough.
Yeah.
These areas will offer unique
just sounds like
content,
it could
more environmental
end very
interactivity,
poorly.
and interconnection between areas.
It's kind of
Our journey begins when the player arrives at the entry deck. The entry deck serves as the first barrier between the outside world and the interior of the station. Some inhabitants are prevented from going inside and are stuck here with no means of getting out.
the local like the
Slums are formed beneath the bridge, smuggling routes established, some shopkeepers will sell you water and food into and out of the station. Let's have a
The
look.
law of outlaws.
yeah. That's cool. Those are the mechanisms and oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they have sneak through the station. Being able to use the multi-tool inside the stations, I'm sure that won't end poorly.
I mean, like, that's the point of Pyro, though.
I know.
There's no rules.
Oh.
Imagine standing there just, fuck, stand balls down.
The station layout is
fuss, and it's the quickest way to maneuver through the station. However, you've got to put the time and the effort in to get to this point. But if you nuke your reputation, so you might be way through, maybe you have to pay a bribe, and you don't want to pay, so you have to find an alternate pathing. Or you have to build up your reputation. If you have bad reputation, you naughty ones out there, I know. In short, you're going to have a tough time, but you have options. So stealth via other pathways might be one of those options. You build your reputation up from scratch, or you can probably fight. Let's focus on those alternate pathways. The modules on the station are broken up into several traversal areas. As with the other location archetypes, we define these spaces as secondary or tertiary routes, as opposed to the more official primary paths, the infiltration and exploration paths, as well as potential loot. So what alternative routes exist to enter this, access the station? We'll offer the opportunity to access the station through multiple missions and reputation issues. Or against, aligned or against the owners of the station. Are a new common sublocation.